Bowers grew up around natural resources and politics. Now he wants to preserve natural resources in Charleston County. That's why he's running for Charleston County Soil and Water Commissioner. I speak exclusively with Joe for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Joe Bowers, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Hey, Quintin, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
It's a busy time of year with work. As you know, I work for the Charter School Alliance, so we've got schools opening up, and we have 2 new schools opening up in the state this year. So it's crazy, and you know, I'm chair of the Young Republicans and secretary for the 1st Congressional District for the GOP, and you know, election season is in full swing.
And speaking of that full swing, obviously you're in campaign mode because, as I understand, you're running for Charleston County Soil and Water Commission. And tell me, what got you from, I would say, almost 4 years ago to right now, from Charleston County Council to this particular position?
Well, conservation is an important issue for me. Having grown up in the Francis Marion National Forest, you know, knowing that our area is rapidly growing, and we need to be very cognizant of what those development impacts have, and we also need to be balancing that with conservation efforts, not only in Charleston County but across the state. And this is often an overlooked position. I know many people, when I was gathering signatures to get on the ballot, because this was strangely the only position on the ballot this year that the state government did not waive the petition requirement. So I had to get 100 signatures. Thankfully, I had a team of people across the county that gathered over 240 signatures in less than 3 days to get me on the ballot. And but many people throughout that time, as I was picking up the petition papers and everything, they were like, what even is this? They're like, we see it on the ballot every time, and we just, you know, check a box. Normally it's unopposed, or, you know, they don't know what it is, but it's a very important position.
Yeah, and you talk about obviously an overlooked position. When was the last time somebody campaigned for something like this?
To be honest, the only time I've ever seen anybody campaign for this was Mayor Woolsey's wife, when she used to be on the commission. I know now she's on the James Island Public Service District Commission. Back when she was on the commission, I ran into her at several political events campaigning for re-election on the Soil and Water Conservation District Commission. And
I know that on your website you say, hey, listen, I'm running for Soil and Water Commissioner because I believe that we can increase overall efficiency and communication. How efficient is this commission?
Well, I think they could definitely be doing things better. You know, you go on their website, there's a lot of outdated information on there. You know, you just go on their homepage and you can tell the website has not been updated since 2017, which I think is a little alarming. And in order to fulfill the statutory duties of educating the public on conservation efforts and, you know, how we can do things better to conserve our natural resources in this county, I think you need to have a better digital footprint than that. You know, you need to have a better website. You need to be on social media, because that's where the majority of people are these days, especially in these COVID times, you know, not being able to go out as much. A lot of people are on the internet. You know, we're on the internet now, you know, meeting this way. So, I mean, it's critical to have that up and going so that you can be effective in your statutory duties holding office as a commissioner.
How do you conserve natural resources in 2020 amid a health outbreak?
Well, I think that, you know, our county has done a lot of forward thinking so far, you know, through our county government, you know, and the half-cent sales tax and everything, and all these great parks that we have that fortunately are open. I know, you know, our local municipalities and county have done a great job with keeping our parks open, and so that people are able to get out, get some fresh air, get in the sunlight, and enjoy the natural beauty that this area has that attracts so many people to move here day after day.
And you talked earlier about the commission needing to be on social media and the internet. What style would you use to increase communication?
I think having I know that having a more robust social media presence, educating people on what's going on, working with our other local governments, our municipalities in the county, our state legislators, to continue those efforts to make sure that we are good stewards of the land that we occupy.
And let me ask you this. You talk about obviously the county, the national resources, and obviously the increase of people moving here. Where would you upgrade the water plan, and how would you deal with the septic systems and erosion from roads and the culvert replacements?
Ooh, well, that's stuff that does need to be looked at, with our with all of our governments at the table, through regional planning efforts. And I know there's been a lot of issues, with flooding all across the county, not in any targeted area. And that's what happens when you live on the coast and you have erosion and as things change over time. And we really need to sit down and look and sit down with experts and see what plan's going to work and find out a way to get that plan implemented.
And where do you see reoccurring flooding around Charleston County?
Everywhere, to be honest. I mean, I've downtown constantly. As you know, I'm downtown constantly. I work downtown, go to church downtown, and yesterday it was that pop-up thunderstorm was real bad. I was actually dropping some stuff off at my church, and it just, as soon as I walked into the office, it just downpoured. And then when I went to go out, it was driving through some nice size puddles out there on the streets.
Back here by Lockwood Drive.
Yeah.
Yikes. Well, let me ask you this. How do you plan to monitor phosphates in area lakes?
Well, I mean, that's stuff, that, we're not, really over. I know, that's partnership stuff that we do. And I know we have plans and there's resources in place. And it's all about working together with DHEC and again our local agencies to make sure that everything is being monitored properly and everything's being communicated properly so that people know about it. And I think that's one of the things that we're kind of missing the point here with the current commission not being so on top of communication, with the website being outdated and not having a regular presence out there on the web.
Where would you look for water clarity?
I think that's an important thing. And I know, there's been all kinds of, studies and stuff. I know, not too long ago they had the water study with the Shin Creek, and I know the town of Mount Pleasant, did all that work on Coleman Boulevard to improve the drainage. I know there's also been there's also been studies and stuff about Jeremy Creek, McClellanville, and it's always a constant thing. And stuff like that happens when you do have the development and people aren't cognizant of stormwater runoff and stuff. And it's all an educational process, and we need to be educating people on how stormwater runoff affects natural habitats in our areas, and how we can prevent that pollution from happening.
And I know you talked earlier about erosion. How many erosion bars are there in the Charleston County area?
Well, I know there's a lot of erosion issues, and it was particularly it's a natural thing,
Okay.
Sand moves and everything, and A lot of our coastal islands are experiencing erosion, the beach renourishment projects and stuff like that. And that's something that we, need to be constantly aware about, as development and stuff happens. And we only need to have that in the back of our minds and going forward. And people, I think, really need to be educated on the fact of, what causes it, why it happens, and what are some preventative things we can do, not only for erosion, but, water runoff, stuff like that. Because if people don't know, they're not going to do the right thing. And it's all about, educating the public.
And that brings me to my next question. What practices would you use to prevent, say, soil erosion and lessen that toll of flooding?
Well, I mean, there's not a one-size-fits-all thing when it comes to stuff like that, because, the landscape around this county is completely different. People don't realize from boundary to boundary, Charleston County is, water and land included within the line, is the largest county in the state. We're actually larger than the state of Rhode Island. And it's not only diverse culturally, but it's diverse geographically. I mean, people are, just amazed at how different the areas are, from Edisto Island all the way into the swamps in the national forest in the Onondaga-McClellanville area. I mean, it's night and day. There's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of differences. So there's never a one-size-fits-all thing when it comes to preventative things to do. You always have to assess the one situation and see what's causing it before you can come up with the fix.
And what farm cost share programs would you create, say, for homeowners?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, what farm cost share programs would you create for homeowners?
I haven't really researched anything into that.
Okay.
And I know that, yes, Charleston County has. Can you elaborate a little bit more on?
Yeah, typically they have farm cost share programs to help homeowners with issues such as preservation. What type of incentives would you create for homeowners?
Well, so homeowners with the the duties of this, we're to promote soil and water resource conservation. So I don't think anything that we could do I don't know how much we could do with that. Yeah. I'm sorry, you kind of caught me off guard with that, to be honest.
Let me ask you this, Dan. What incentives would you have in place to restore, say, organic matter and soils via the aerobic composing?
Again, I mean, with stuff like that, I mean, it's all in, what resources we are given at the local level, from USDA grants, state grants, right, and what we can do to implement those programs here.
That was my
yes, question. And a lot of that has to do with us advocating to our legislators. Okay. And that's something that I do on a regular basis. I have a really good relationship with a lot of our local legislators, and I think that is one asset that I can bring to the commission.
And when you look around Charleston County, when you look at natural resources, what's your one favorite place?
My one favorite place, I love to go on the Palmetto Trail, on the Onondaga Passage along Onondaga Creek. I love to go there and walk. And if you go, there's a little spur off of there that goes to the old Walnut Grove plantation. Yeah. And there's a house there that was built in the early 1900s. It's abandoned. It's on National Forest property. And I love to, I'll park at there's the Ondaw canoe launch ramp. I'll park there, walk down to the plantation and back. It's a nice, couple hours. Nice place to clear my head and, take in nature and the beauty of the area.
And the beauty of the area. And what exactly would you do on day one if you're a commissioner?
Day one is, go and, meet our office staff and reach out to the other commissioners and see how we can forge a plan to move forward and get things accomplished and do our job that we are tasked with by state law. So.
Okay. Well, Joe Bowers, thank you so much for your time.
Yes.
Welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
Likewise.